So Netflix decided to just surprise the world and just drop the Cloverfield Paradox on us right after the Super Bowl. You know, trailer during the Super Bowl, and then, you know, poster. Literally everything came out, you know, tonight. And they're like, hey, we're throwing it on after the Super Bowl, so watch it after the Super Bowl. So I had to watch it because I was looking forward to that. So, yeah, let's get right on to the film. So this installment in the Cloverfield universe involves this space station crew. They're kind of like fighting for survival because they're testing out this particle accelerator thing to fix this energy crisis on the Earth. And just to say, you know, without going into spoilers, some bad stuff happens. Obviously a little different than the previous installment in the Cloverfield franchise, 10 Cloverfield Lane. But that's what makes this universe so unique, is how vastly different each film in this shared universe is. This film definitely gave me vibes of like the Alien franchise and the film Life, you know, the Jake Gyllenhaal one. Which isn't a bad thing, because I'm really into those kind of sci-fi / horror films in general. Actually impressive the caliber of talent they actually have on this cast, because you got Daniel Brühl, Elizabeth Debicki, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, David Oyelowo, a couple other people as well I'm not remembering. Oh, Zhang Ziyi from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Memoirs of a Geisha. Haven't seen her in anything in a very long time. Because all those movies she's well known for from like the early to mid 2000s. None of them really gave a bad performance in this film. Most of them were actually pretty strong, especially Elizabeth Debicki. She was probably my favorite in the film. You don't really know what she's going to do next. She's like kind of sinister, malevolent, you know, you just don't know what she's going to do. She's so unpredictable in this movie. And like no matter what, you know, what's going on in the movie, you wonder what she's going to do next. And I think that's what makes your character so interesting, because you don't know what's going on for the most part. I do have to say the CGI and the production for this movie is like stunning to look at. You can definitely tell this is supposed to be a major motion picture. It almost feels wrong that I'm watching this at home on my television, not seeing it, you know, opening weekend in a theater. I think this film, in certain scenes especially, would look really good in IMAX. But I'll probably never have that luxury since it was a Netflix film now. And like a lot of science fiction films, the plot for the Cloverfield Paradox can be kind of, you know, weird, confusing, hard to follow in some aspects, which is to be expected in sci-fi films in general. But it's definitely the same here, because some parts of what the Cloverfield Paradox is, you know, what it's all about, what's its purpose, etc. Sometimes it can get a little muddled and confusing to follow, which I definitely think might deter people from checking this film out, but I don't think it should, because it's still, like, you can follow it for the most part. I'll just leave it at that. Now, if I'm being honest, one of my big negatives for this film is I feel like the film had a good amount of pacing issues throughout, because the first act of the film is really interesting and kind of, like, you know, builds up, you know, it's going to be this super exciting, you know, story on this ship, and then it kind of drags for a bit, then something interesting happens, and then it drags a bit, and something interesting happens, and then the final act is like full on like action, which I actually enjoyed the third act a lot, and it kind of saved, you know, a little bit of the movie for me, but I won't go into what happens in the third act. You'll just have to see the movie to find out. It actually is pretty awesome, by the way. Now this could just be me, but one of my other negatives also is the B story in this film with Roger Davies' character on Earth, and they keep cutting back to his story throughout the film, and I just really didn't find it that interesting, if I'm being honest. Like, it's not a bad story, he doesn't do a bad job, but they keep cutting to him when the, the original story, the main plot, is actually a lot more interesting, and his story doesn't really go anywhere, so I just didn't really like it that much, but this just could be me. I might like it on, another viewing, but just, initial thoughts, I didn't find it very interesting. Anyways, moving on to my score for the film, I'd have to give the Cloverfield Paradox a B-. Now, I don't expect this film to appeal to everyone, since it is, kind of a weird sci-fi film, and Cloverfield, as it's, in itself, is kind of a weird franchise. I think the next one's supposed to be like a World War II film. I don't know why. But I did like this film, even with the pacing issues, here and there. It's overall pretty interesting, and I think, like, if you like Cloverfield, you'll probably like this film as well. But, yeah, I definitely recommend it if you're a Cloverfield fan, or if you're a sci-fi fan, but I don't think this film's for everybody. I think I still definitely prefer 10 Cloverfield Lane to this film, even though they are so vastly different. Anyways, that was my review. Let me know in the comments what you think of the film. I mean, it just kind of just sprung up on us and just surprised us on Netflix today, so plenty of time to check it out. Let me know your thoughts. While you're here, feel free to leave a like, hit that subscribe button. Until the next time, I'll see you guys later.